Awesome. Hey, Gina. Hey, everyone watching. Thanks for dialing into this live, coming direct to you through LinkedIn and Facebook. For those of you that are new to this, we're going to be online for around 30 minutes, diving into the world of infant nutrition and Norish, including their current equity crowdfunding campaign. Gina, the founder of Norish, is going to run through her pitch, and then we're going to move into some questions. I have a few, but we're hoping that you'll have some as well. So please do pop any questions into the comments and we'll make sure to ask those towards the end. Also, we really love any feedback, responses, hearts, whatever platform you're on, whatever way you want to respond. That's always great to know that there are people watching and reacting. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Anna and I'm the co-founder of PledgeMe. PledgeMe is a crowdfunding platform here in Aotearoa. We've been around for over 10 years and we help people fund the things that they care about, which ranges from solid shampoo bar businesses through to infant nutrition. But enough about us. Let's hear from our fabulous guests. So Gina, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Anna. Is my slide up?
It is. Yep. It is up now.
Great. And I'll just make sure I can change across. So thanks for the introduction. My name's Gina. I am a clinical nutritionist and the founder of Norish. And at the moment, we're raising investment to fuel our growth and impact in the infant food category. So this stat up on the slide at the moment is quite an alarming stat, but probably the main driver behind me developing Norish. So currently 90% of commercial toddler foods are failing to meet the nutrition recommendations that are set by the World Health Organization. So that's 9 out of 10 products that are sitting on our supermarket shelves that are failing to nourish our most precious people. And I just feel that we put so much trust into the health food system, but unfortunately, this is just not good enough. And all food should be supporting health, but particularly infant food should be supporting health. So we have a large number of tamariki that are suffering the consequences of poor diets and a food system that is failing them. So sitting on the shoulders of our youngest generation is a host of non-communicable diseases, which really sets the stage for lifelong health impacts. And what I'm seeing through my clinic is a host of these non-communicable diseases. So things like obesity and diabetes, which is coming through in our younger generation. Food allergies and intolerances is incredibly common. Cardiovascular disease, cancers, and dental decay. And the economic burden that is on our economy alone is $2 billion a year. But this is not limited to New Zealand. This is a global health crisis. So I would like to introduce you to Norish. Norish is a category-changing baby food that is disrupting the industry in the most positive way possible. And in the 16 years that I have been a mother, the only innovative change the baby food industry has really seen has been in the packaging and not the food itself. And as a nurse and a clinical nutritionist, I knew that we could and we really should be doing more for our most vulnerable population. So we've utilised freeze-dried technology to lock in the nutrition of some of the most nutrient-rich foods on the planet. Our recipes are unique and innovative. I've used ingredients like bone broth, liver, quinoa, kelp, which deliver essential nutrients without the use of synthetic vitamins and minerals. And the lightweight and shelf-stable nature of the product also allows us to have a sustainable and scalable business, which is pretty exciting for a food and beverage FMCG brand, is to have a product that we can grow and scale. So we launched around 18 months ago and we have released 8 products to the market. There are 4 baby purees. So these you mix with water and then it reconstitutes back to its whole food form in the form of a baby puree. And then we have 4 cans, which are designed to increase the nutrient density of children's food. So this takes the lifespan of our product use from starting solids right throughout childhood. Typical baby cereal is made up of nutrient-devoid rice. It's got inflammatory oils, and then it's got synthetic vitamins, which is basically a recipe for constipation and what we see in our clinic being the leading cause of gastrointestinal upset in infants. So I've developed the first to market rice cereal alternative, which is utilising the most nutrient-dense foods available to us, but also ingredients that are really gentle on a delicate digestive system as well. And it's pretty alarming that over half the purees that are sold on our supermarket shelves contain up to or over 16 grams of sugar per serve. So that's equivalent to 4 teaspoons of sugar per serve. And babies are being fed these multiple times a day. So we are proud to be the leading change that this industry so desperately needs. So what makes us different from our competitors? We are bringing a nutritious product to the market. We are providing convenience at home and on the go, and then also having an education platform where we can really speak to the education behind our ingredients, our products, and also be able to offer that one-on-one support for caregivers as well. So currently the global market is sitting at 82 billion and is expected to rise to 148 billion by 2031. And there's a market rise across the countries that we're studying at the moment. And this market rise that we are seeing is mostly attributed to the increasing number of women that are entering back into the workforce in the postpartum period. So we know around 75 to 80% of mothers are entering back into the workforce in the postpartum period, and convenience is almost a necessity for the modern day family. And I believe it shouldn't be at the expense of their baby's health. So our progress so far, we've released 8 products to the market. We've seen over actually $590,000 of online sales, and we've built a really beautiful, engaging online community of over 15,000 now. We're preparing to launch into foodstuffs in the North Island, so just about to roll out into New World, which is a big milestone for us. And we're currently ranged in 35 stores throughout New Zealand. We're preparing to launch into Australia, and then also studying the Asian markets at the moment as well. So my name's Gina. As I said earlier, I am a clinical nutritionist. I have a background in nursing, and I've been working as a clinical nutritionist in my own private practice for the last 10 years. And we're still providing one-on-one consultations for people as a clinical nutritionist. I developed Norish after I released a baby food ebook to the market, which really opened up a can of worms for me in terms of parents being really hungry for information outside mainstream recommendations, but then also the convenience that's needed in that early stage with so many mothers going back into the workforce. So after the birth of my 4th baby, I decided I was actually going to take a break and have some time out. She ended up being a fabulous sleeper, and I got a little bit bored, so developed this ebook, and really from there it's opened up a can of worms, and we've gone now into full steam ahead into commercial baby food and really disrupting the category. I have some amazing people that I work alongside. Brooke is our virtual CFO and executive governance, and has a background with Apollo Foods and the Apple Press as a CFO, and has done a lot of our financial modelling. Mike also has an extensive background in the FMCG space and branding as well. We also have a great advisory board, including Sarah Sheriff. So Sarah has been head of export for Icebreaker, Fix and Fog, and Whittaker's, and also holds governance roles in a lot of FMCG companies around New Zealand, and brings a wealth of experience in this category. Also Annabelle, who's the CEO of Air Ambulance in New Zealand, Luke, who's the CEO of Fingermark, Tim, the director of New Shoots Childcare Centres, and then Mike, who's also a chartered accountant with Brooke, and was also with Apollo Foods and the Apple Press as well. So our journey so far, we've seen month-on-month growth. We're raising to keep up with this growth and to fuel our growth and impact. And we're raising a minimum of $500,000 and a maximum of $1 million. So most of you have probably seen that we have been doing a mix of crowdfunding through PledgeMe, and then also a wholesale round on the outside. We've got a wholesale round, wholesale funds that have been put forward, and then also we're just very close to our minimum funding target on PledgeMe as well, which is incredibly exciting at the pointy end of our campaign for it to all take off right at the end here. So our requested proceeds and what the money is going to. So we're putting these proceeds into supporting our growth and impact into international markets. So building our team, building a governance board, increase inventory holding to allow for sales and growth throughout New World to begin with, but then also into those export markets, and then also into some new product development as well. So we have seen gross sales revenue of what we're aiming for in our highlights, gross sales revenue of 9.6 million to be achieved by financial year 26, and an EBITDA of 3.2. We are heading towards, our goal is to be dominating New Zealand and Australian market with a mix of e-commerce and premium wholesale. And then this cash flow injection that we are raising for at the moment will allow us to be cash flow positive by March 25. So that's where we're at. Anna, did you want to come back on board and fire some questions at me? I'm actually just going to turn the light on too, because I can see that it's just starting to get a bit darker. 2 minutes.
Go for it. Go for it. So while you're doing that, Gina, I'll just remind people that if you have any questions, do feel free to pop them in the chat and I'll put them to Gina as well. But to get us started, I just wanted to just check in on, you know, how this current campaign is feeling. You said something before around being at the pointy end of it, but how is it feeling going out to your crowd and getting people on board?
It's really beautiful, to be honest. It's so reaffirming that the purpose and the passion behind the brand is just being cemented with the pledges that are coming through and the messages that are coming through with those pledges as well. There's an incredible amount of support out there from our community, from people sharing it to pledging. So just feeling so grateful and humbled by the support that's rolling through now, and really excited for the future of Norish.
Amazing. Yeah, it's 126 people so far, hey, that have pledged to the campaign, and it's, I think, 84% funded. And a lot of that was in the last day, hey? So people are getting to that point with deadline magic, which is what we call it, that they're like, oh yeah, this is the thing I meant to do, and I'm doing it now.
Fantastic for my nervous system, by the way. Like the whole month to this build up has been, yeah, it's exciting to see it roll through now.
Yeah, no, I totally feel that. We have to do this every time, Gina. So I hear you. So we've got a few hearts coming through from people watching. Thank you. If you have any questions, do pop them through. Though I've got some more to get into. So can you talk us through a little bit more? Because I think the major part of this capital raise, right, is to fund your international growth and new products. Could you talk a little bit about both of those? So with the international growth, where you're thinking about going, and with the new products as well, what are you thinking about launching?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the moment, we have our food certifications prepared to export to Australia. Australia's probably come knocking on our door sooner than we were ready, which is a great problem to have, I guess. So we've had wholesalers reaching out to us, and we already are sending e-commerce orders over to Australia. So to have some product on the ground there is going to be great. We have some great relationships with existing wholesalers that are also on the ground in Australia. So that's our first point of call, is to enter Australia. Firstly, focusing as with Melbourne, 5K radius of the CBD in terms of really targeting our marketing there. But we have some distribution channels which will allow us to roll out to the broader areas of Australia as well.
Amazing. And who's supporting you with your export plans?
So we're doing a lot of work with Sarah. Mike, who does our branding, also has a wealth of experience with export, has worked for some big brands that are global brands. So I think within our internal team of people, we've had some strategy around going there, and also the support of NZTE as well.
Amazing. And then beyond Australia, what are you thinking further afield? So there was some discussion in your IM about Asia.
Yeah, so we are studying Asia at the moment. We're looking at Japan and China as two different markets, and really studying. Japan per capita have the highest spend on baby food in the world, and with China we see a large amount of volume as well. So yeah, we are currently studying those two markets as well.
And sorry, the final question that I had lumped in amongst that was the new product development as well, because that's a question that you get asked a lot, especially around sort of vegetarian products and vegan products. Hey?
Yeah, yeah. So we are working on two plant-based purees that we are ready to release early next year. And probably just to speak to the reason why they haven't been rolled out initially is because a lot of the ingredients that we've used in terms of bone broth and liver provide essential nutrients that infants need in that early stage in their most bioavailable form. So an example for that is iron. A 6-month-old baby needs more iron than an adult male, and their portion size is so tiny compared to what a man's eating. So if we're looking at those kind of portion sizes and bioavailable nutrients, we're really wanting to get the maximum amount of nutrients in that small portion, and with that, the likes of bone broth and liver provide really bioavailable nutrients. But we do know that there are a lot of people, whether it's religion or by choice or for whatever reason, that there is a big movement in the plant-based space as well. And we feel honoured that we could provide that, but then also provide the one-on-one consultation support as well to be able to get those that amount of iron into infants, because solely relying on a plant-based can be quite difficult. So yeah, long story short, what we're planning is to roll out some plant-based purees, but then also extending the toddler snack space as well.
Amazing. And that links into a question that someone asked earlier on one of my posts, which was around how parents know what sort of nutrients they need to be giving their baby. Specifically, Catherine said that she'd been giving her baby your products, but she wasn't sure if she was giving them too much vitamin A because she'd had some feedback from the nutritionist that she might be. So
Yeah,
how do
yeah.
parents figure that out?
Yeah, so all of our ingredients won't go over the RDI of the nutrients that are required. So even if a baby was to have 3 meals a day of the Norish products, they wouldn't go over the recommended daily intake of those nutrients. So yeah, rest assured that the nutrients are there, but not in excessive amounts that's going to cause toxicity.
Amazing. So we've got 2 questions coming through. Thank you, people. Do keep on asking your questions. So Kim says, "Hi, Gina. Can you give us an understanding of where your idea came from in the very beginning?" She wants to hear that story.
Yeah, absolutely. I was, I guess, with Billy after Billy's my 4th baby, and probably my journey over having 4 kids has really shaped the knowledge I have around infant nutrition and how it's changed over the years as well. So with Billy, I was at home and just mixing up different ingredients and grating liver into food and things like that. And then I noticed that there was quite a huge movement in liver capsules for adults as a supplement to get those nutrients in. So I was either grating frozen liver or adding liver capsules. And then I thought there has to be something where all these ingredients that I'm putting together to make a nutrient dense meal, to put it into a one sachet for parents so that they have peace of mind that a nutritionist developed product has been put together to meet those nutrient requirements. And the same thing with the baby cereal. I was mixing all these different powders and bits and pieces at home and thought this would be a great product to be able to provide a healthy alternative to what was currently on the market. So.
Love it. And we've got a question from Amanda asking, where in New Zealand are the products currently manufactured?
Yeah, we have a contract manufacturer up in Auckland. So everything's done there and then it's dispatched from there as well.
Awesome. Keep asking questions, people. We love them. But back to some questions I had pre-prepared. What happened this week? There's a few big things that have happened in your world, Gina, and do you want to celebrate them and share them with the people watching?
Yeah, we've progressed significantly with our ranging going into New World. So that's really exciting. And that's probably, we're doing these outcome Fridays where we celebrate a win on a Friday. And that's going to be a big celebration, is to be progressing with ranging in New World and to be able to roll that out. So that's a big win for us this week. Also, I guess with this campaign, securing our wholesale investment and then such a significant increase in the PledgeMe as well. So a few wins this week.
Can you just talk through the sort of ranging in New World? Because currently you're in 35 stores around New Zealand, right? But not New World. And what does it mean being ranged into New World for you?
I think being ranged into New World, so the stores that we are in at the moment, the likes of Huckleberry, Good For, Valentino's, a lot of health food stores where we know that there's a lot of good quality premium products, which is great for our Norish brand, but to have more exposure in the supermarket space. And as a mum, we know, like, I'm shopping in the supermarket, being able to get everything in one place is convenience and easy. So with the likes of rolling into New World, we know that we're going to get a lot of brand exposure, and we'll increase our volume that we're rolling out as well.
Awesome. Kim says Australia is going to love you. What has been the feedback so far, actually, from Australia? Has there been any sort of differences in the way consumers are using your products, or is there anything different?
I spent 18 years in Australia, so I lived there for a big part of my life. So I feel like I know the Australian market fairly well. I studied in Australia as well, so we already have a small presence in Australia with our online community. I think the likes of the education that comes out of influencers and nutritionists and practitioners across social media is quite similar to what we're seeing in New Zealand. And I know there's quite a big movement happening in Australia at the moment. The Obesity Policy Coalition are calling for really urgent action to have a lot of transparency around the infant food category in terms of packaging and greenwashing, but also around having some really clear regulations in place around the amount of sugar that's in these products, and then also around how many nutrients should be in there. So a pureed apple just isn't providing enough nutrients for an infant. So I think that movement that's happening in Australia at the moment will be a great support for our product to roll into that as well, and to be really the first premium product on the supermarket shelves, because we haven't seen a premium product in the supermarkets yet.
The stat that you share so often, and you may have shared it earlier, around 9 out of 10 baby products aren't containing the nutrition that they need for babies. It's just crazy, right? Like, and so that's the thing that drives you, right? Is that what you're passionate about?
Yeah, 3 out of 5 babies are consuming commercial food. So that makes up a big portion of the nutrients that are going in. And we know that there's a large amount of sugar in a lot of these foods and lacking a lot of nutrients. So I think the combination of the nutrient devoid foods that are on our supermarket shelves, and then also what I'm seeing through my clinic in terms of diet related diseases, something needs to change. It's really just not good enough that this kind of category is being dismissed in terms of nutrient density, and we would love to see some regulations be put in place.
So going into this equity crowdfunding campaign itself, can you tell me, how did you hear about equity crowdfunding? Why did you decide that that's the way you wanted to raise?
I think a few different ways, actually. I had followed Brianne's story and was quite impressed with how she had raised capital and built a community around her brand. I think she spoke of, I can't remember how many hundreds of people that then became advocates for her brand. So I really love that. And I really love that you could bring people that really love your brand and product into be a part of your company as well. I feel like that's a really special way to raise capital. Also, it was recommended to me from the likes of Ministry of Awesome, the investment arm at NZTE. A lot of people speak really highly about equity crowd fundraising as well. So it felt like a natural fit, given that we have such an engaging community, and it has been.
And do you want to talk us through the round? So how much are you raising? How much can people buy in for? What are the sort of details around it?
Yeah, you might have to refresh on what people get. So minimum buy-in is $500. but with each level of investment, there's perks that come with that. I can't quite remember because we mixed them around a little, but have you got them in front of you, Anna?
I can quickly say them.
Yeah,
So
go for it.
if you invest at the $500 level, you get non-voting shares in Norish and 5% off the Norish range if you're buying online. If you invest $1,000, it's 10% off Norish and the non-voting shares. $5,000 is 15% off Norish if you buy online. And then there's a few other things as you go up around access to trialing new products, and higher sort of percentages off, to the point where you get to $50,000, which is where you get voting shares in the company, as well as a 20% discount, and trialing new products.
Thank you.
So, and your goal is to raise $350,000 through this equity crowdfunding campaign, as well as some money through wholesale investors, with the goal of getting to $500,000, which you already have, hey?
We have, yeah, it's really exciting, yeah. So anything over that's just going to help us accelerate that growth and our impact. So exciting times.
Amazing. We have a few more minutes. If anyone else has any questions that's watching right now, do pop them in the chat and I'll put them to Gina. But how can people help you beyond pledging to the campaign? Is there anything else that your crowd that's watching this could be doing?
I think sharing our campaign for one, but then also sharing our products with people they may know as well. Anybody that's got family members or friends with little ones, even directing them to our website, where we've just got such a ton of information there. Lots of blog posts, lots of advice, and also to our Instagram and Facebook page as well, where we share lots of education around starting solids, the children's kind of health category all over, and then also definitely the food space too. But yeah.
Catherine has just joined and is asking if I asked about the vitamin limits, and I did. So Catherine, I'll just quickly say that your baby could be eating 3 packets of Norish a day, and they wouldn't exceed their recommended daily intake across any of the vitamins. Is that correct, Gina? That's what you said earlier?
Yeah. So we know that there's a lot of bioavailable nutrients in the Norish range, but nothing will exceed the recommended daily intake, and won't be a toxic amount. So you could give 3 meals a day, and you wouldn't exceed that RDI of vitamin A through the liver. So perfectly fine to have.
There was an additional question: is would you put the limits on the packaging to tell people that that they could consume too much? But no, doesn't sound like that, because that wouldn't happen. Is that correct?
We could do, if we had a lot of customer feedback that was telling us that there was a lot of concern around it, then definitely we would look at tweaking the packaging if that was a concern for parents. But also we welcome people to ask questions directly to us as well. If you ever have a concern, whether it's around the product or starting solids or an allergy or anything like that, we're always here to answer questions. So.
Gina's been answering a lot of my questions about my baby, who's just started solids as well. So can confirm. Great at responding to questions. So I think we'll call time, because we've been on for a half hour. If anyone does have any questions that come out of watching this, feel free to keep on commenting on these posts, and we'll put them back to Gina and respond. And the link to the campaign is in the chat as well, in the comments. Go and check it out. There's been at least 1 pledge since we started this live. And we're hoping that it'll get to the 300K mark tonight, right? Is that what we're hoping for, Gina?
We're very close. Yeah. We're very close.
So close. And so 2 more days to go to invest in Norish. Please check out the campaign. And yeah, if you have any questions, just let us know. And finally, thank you, Gina, for joining me tonight. And thank you, everyone, for watching this.
Thanks, Anna.
Catch
Thanks,
you later.
everyone.
Bye.